Hello, I'm Courtney Cardini, and welcome back to Life of a Travel Writer series. This is vlog 18 out of 52. I am currently in Mexico City, so it is our last full day in Mexico City before we head out, and which I'm very sad about, but it's been a very busy full week, so I've been very grateful to be in Mexico City finally. I did set the task of filming at the Frida Kahlo house just to do something a little different, but unfortunately you're not allowed to film in there, which makes complete sense because it is packed. A lot of the museums I've been to so far have been very busy, but obviously the Frida Kahlo house is not very large. It's a small house. I mean, the house is a nice size, and it has a great piazza in the middle with a lot of plants and everything like that. I definitely wanted to kick everybody out and move in because it is an amazing house. Like, just having the whole building just is a square, and then you have the open piazza in the middle, and they used to have a duck pond and everything like that. Now the water is empty and everything because it is open as a museum, so they don't keep any animals in it like the family used to, so that's a little sad, but it's also just nice to see it in general. And especially the studio where Frida used to paint has two big window, like it's all basically open with just windows. So that was really nice. I did take a lot of photos, so I'll put some photos in here. Especially the studio was my favorite space because that just looks like a great space to work, and especially with Frida's illnesses, like, thank God the house was so nice because she couldn't move around a lot, obviously. She had polio when she was a kid, and then when she was like 18 she got into an accident she was on the tram and a pole went through her uterus and her back, so she spent a lot of time having a lot of surgeries in her early 20s. So it was just wild to see the area that she slept in and everything like that, because it was a great space to have if you are in that situation where you can't move around a lot for a certain amount of time. It's good that at least your environment is very nice, so I thought that was great. So yes, I really enjoyed the house. That was on Wednesday, so we left Puebla on Monday, and it was like 2.5 hour bus ride. There was a lot of traffic coming in, but it's not a hard bus ride. It's easy. I did some work while I was on the bus, which was nice. And then we were in one area for a while, so I did the Frida Kahlo house, and I also went to the Archaeological Museum, which is amazing and very, very large. I was only there for 2 hours, so I didn't see everything. I did miss one of the rooms, but it's definitely one of the highlights. I would suggest, if you're going to be in Mexico City, that you should visit. It was also nice too because I'm part of ICOM, which is International Council of Museums, and I get in for free there, which was nice. Frida, however, you do have to pay, and I would book the tickets way in advance. So yeah, so a lot of museums, and that was Tuesday. Let's see. So Tuesday, I don't think I went to a museum. I think it was just a work day. Food shopping, eye doctor appointment, that kind of thing. Yeah, I think, let's see, yes. So Monday we got here. Tuesday we had appointments and stuff to take care of, and then Wednesday I went to the Frida Kahlo Museum, and also in the morning I went for a run. I really, really like Mexico City because even though the neighborhood we were in wasn't that great, we were 2 blocks away from a park, and it had It had tennis courts and soccer courts, and people were working out, and there's like 2 dog parks. The park is kind of large, which is nice, and then they have a track around the whole thing where runners can run, and then there's a dirt path next to it. So the air quality here is not that great. I did, towards the end of 5 miles, I was feeling very nauseous, and I don't know if that has to do with the dust being kicked up or the dogs kicking up dust too while they're running in the park, or just my asthma in general. It had been 2 weeks since I ran. My last run was in Playa, so even though I was faster, I did run, my fastest mile was 12 minutes and 23 seconds, and I did do 5 miles, but I guess after being off for 2 weeks, that it might have been that, the nausea from that, or it might have been the nausea just from all the dust and everything kicking up and bothering my asthma. So yes, so Wednesday was very eventful. Running, Frida Kahlo House, and then I found a cafe and I joined in. We had our volunteer meeting for WITS, which I'm very excited about because now we're 2 weeks out. So it is the Women in Travel Summit that I am volunteering for. It is my first time attending, and I'm very excited for that because I am going to try to get some footage for that. So I'm very excited. As I keep saying, I really need to find a replacement word for excited, because honestly, people could play a shot game and just every time I say excited, you drink. That is a very American thing. But yeah, so had the conference, which was great. It ran about an hour. I have to say, being in cafes is very nice. Often I work at if we're staying at an Airbnb or an apartment or the hotel, usually I work inside, but it is very nice to get out and sit in a cafe and see everybody else working, and I like the environment. So I did enjoy doing the video chat during that, hanging out at a conference, and then we went to the market. There's a very popular market in Mexico City. Obviously, there's little pockets of ones, but it's nice to see the markets, and we had dinner there. And then Thursday was, I think I did 2 museums on Thursday. Let's see. Thursday, oh yes, Thursday was it's already May. I'm so excited. It's already May. So let's see. Yes, so Thursday I had an interview call for an art consultant position that I'm considering. Intrigued, but we'll see what happens. And then we went to the castle. It is, I don't know too much about the castle. I should do more research, but we mostly just went to see it because it has a really nice view at the top. And it has a lot of historical information. Unfortunately, most of it was in Spanish, and I didn't get in there for free. They did not take ICOM, so it must be either privately owned or the government owns it. And my favorite part was I think the Northwest Terrace. It's just a really, really nice area. I will put some photos in. But yes, that was also extremely packed. There was a lot of people, and we went later in the afternoon, so we kind of only had an hour to go through. So mostly we were just enjoying it and seeing what we could see, but it's very nice. I highly suggest it if you're coming to Mexico City. And then on Friday, I went to the Anthropology Museum, Archaeology Museum, no, Anthropology Museum, and then we went to MODO, which is, I also got in there for ICOM. It's like an objects museum, and it was nice because they had an exhibition, and all the works were for sale, and they were made by people that are in an institution. Obviously, you don't know why they're in an institution, and I'm not sure how they got into the museum in terms of who curated it, but it's very nice. So I thought that was really nice that they had that going on. And then Saturday we just moved from the Airbnb to the hotel, and we're here until we leave tomorrow. So we're in a better area because we're closer to the center. So I will be going to the National Art Museum today, and if I could fit it in the Bellas Artes. They're in the same area, which is nice. Yes, Bellas Artes. So both very great, both really great institutions. The Bellas Artes also has some frescoes or some monuments, some memorials from Frida Kahlo's husband. So we saw those last night because you could go in and just see the ones in the lobby. Obviously the museum was closing, so we didn't get to see the other artworks, but that area is like a public space, so you can go in and just see the artwork, which was nice. So yes, so today I have 2 museums that I'm trying to hit. I have some work that I'm trying to finish, and then we leave for Panama tomorrow. It was nice that I got to do 2 runs while I was here. Mexico City is definitely a city I could see myself living in, even though the neighborhoods aren't always great. My biggest thing is that I need a park and I need a museum. So if I have both of those, awesome. And Mexico just has a great vibe in general, because even when we were walking around last night, they were playing salsa music in the park and people are just dancing, so which was really nice. And my partner we take salsa classes, so it's nice to be able to just go out in the middle of the night and find a random park and you can dance. And people are always friendly and the food is always good, so I really like Mexico in general. Mexico City is very nice. The air quality is not that great, but nowhere is perfect. So yes, I could definitely see myself living here. But yeah, so I think it's a place that everyone should visit. It's like a Mexican New York, basically, and who doesn't love that? Where the tacos are definitely better. So yeah. In terms of books, I am still working on my books. I have been working on 2 chapters for my literary agent to get notes on. He gave me notes 2 weeks ago, so I've just been funneling through that. And mostly just like trying different things. We talked a lot about developmental work, and I've been doing some more research on writing a memoir and taking some Skillshare classes just to like refresh myself and take myself out of the box and do different things and see the story from a different perspective. So it's a lot, because the subject of my first travel memoir is the 2 years that I was global gallery manager aboard the National Geographic Resolution. So trying to fit 2 years into a story in general is difficult. And then, I want to weave other things, because the subtext is 1 woman, 1 goal, 7 continents. And like, I didn't hit all 7 continents on the ship. I just hit my last 4 continents from the ship. So it's, I also interweave when I was studying abroad in Florence and living in Rome, and the time I went to Africa for some contract work. So like it's trying to make the basis off of that first 2 chapters is, sets the whole story up. So I have, especially since I was working on it for like 9 months by myself, I have a lot of different angles that I'm trying to pull in and everything, or, I could start here or I could start here. So it's all about trying to figure out the best way to express the story. So, and you don't do that in one draft. So, yeah, so it feels good. It feels a lot better. The more you work on it, the more someone gives you feedback, you can kind of try different things and see where you're going, and that feels really nice. So it's a nice experiment to do that. And then so then we just have pitch work, and then other projects that I have going on. So I am very excited though, because I will be in New York for a few weeks, and I have people that I'm seeing, and I have the conference that I'm going to, and I feel things are spring for me has finally hatched, and I feel that the new year has begun, and things are going to pick up very quickly, which feels nice, because with the state of how everything is going in the world, it doesn't, I try to avoid a lot of social media and the news, because it doesn't feel great to watch. So I think just finding the time to bring yourself into your own works and practice, and I've been doing a lot more yoga and more meditation, and you know, just being in Mexico City is really nice because every park we go to always has dogs around and people are hanging out and there's, you know, people dancing. So that always brings like a nice vibe when you go outside and you're not connected to the internet and you just see what's really going on outside. It's just a very nice experience. So yeah, so this is the end of week 18. I'm excited that it's May. I'm excited to start conferences soon. And then the year just keeps going after that. So I'm very excited to see what happens in the next couple weeks. Not sure what to expect from Panama, but I have a lot of work to do, so I'm not sure how much we're going to be exploring. So we shall see. But thank you for checking in with me, and I hope you are having a very happy and productive week. Bye.